In the prosperous cities of Hong Kong and Sydney, it is not difficult to think that the problems of food waste and hunger exist somewhere else, but these problems are much closer to home than you think. On any given night, almost 100,000 people experience homelessness across Australia, while, on any given day, at least 1 million people across Australia live in poverty. In Hong Kong, 1 in 6 people live in poverty and 40% of the Hong Kong population live in subsidised public housing. These people experiencing homelessness and poverty experience malnutrition and low levels of health. Due to poor diet, malnutrition and exposure, homeless people are at greater risk of suffering from chronic health disorders like asthma and diabetes. Research highlights that many homeless people do not meet current dietary recommendations. The diets of men and women are high in saturated fat and added sugars and low in fibre, vitamins and minerals, despite reporting that they want to improve their diet. This malnutrition is a result of not only the lack of eating regularly, but also due to the quality of food that is donated to the homeless, and poor education on nutritious foods, including food preparation. With these problems in mind, the GrowHarvestCook initiative is designed to eradicate the problems of malnutrition and poor education through a community-scale, systems-based approach. The design intent is to place a community garden within the parameters of public housing, aimed to present the residents with an opportunity to grow and harvest their own produce, learn about and use practical organic gardening methods, help reduce household waste through composting, learn about and use correct cooking methods so as to receive all nutrients, and bringing people together as a community. GrowHarvestCook introduces community gardens to public houses. It offers residents the opportunity to grow and harvest their own produce. It also creates more green patches bursting with vegetables, plants and flowers, bringing these grey and dark looking areas to life. It is also aimed to raise awareness about the impact of food waste in Hong Kong and Sydney, and reduce how much good food we waste. Both Hong Kong and Sydney already have over 20 community gardens each. Sydney, all being very central to the city, with Hong Kong, some may be up to 2 hours away from the city centre. These gardens are marketed at people who have the money to fund and support these gardens. The people already have the necessary food education to maintain a healthy diet. These initiatives do not take into consideration the needs of the homeless at all, let alone acknowledge them. With Sydney's vast parklands and green spaces, and Hong Kong's large area of rooftops, the GrowHarvestCook proposes an initiative to turn these areas into a living and growing hub to support the homeless. In Sydney, GrowHarvestCook will partner with the City of Sydney and the Australian City Farms and Community Gardens Network to fund and organise a network of professional town planners and horticulturists to be sent out to the public housing areas to initiate these programs. They would build the gardens in various areas and then train and educate the residents in growing, nurturing and harvesting of the garden, and also in the proper methods of cooking the produce. The first initiative would take place at the public housing of Northcote Place on Belvoir Street in the suburb of Surrey Hills. This is a public housing building that is home to almost 1,000 tenants. Adjacent to Northcote Place is Eddie Ward Park, that has an area of 2.2 acres or over 8,500 square metres. This park is rarely used by the residents of Surrey Hills. With the proposal of GrowHarvestCook, this land would be utilised as a community garden. With a garden space of this size, the produce generated would be great enough to feed the entire housing commission, with the excess produce being donated to the homeless people that live on the streets. Any further excess would be sold back to the community at growers' markets or directly to surrounding cafes and restaurants. The proceeds would go back into the maintenance of the garden and excess as an income to the tenants. The GrowHarvestCook gardens would be implemented in various forms adaptable to each individual project, from vertical, rooftop and ground level gardens. GrowHarvestCook enables the homeless to not only be educated in food and food waste, but also understand the importance of community involvement. With the success of GrowHarvestCook, Residents of public housing in Hong Kong and Sydney will no longer be malnourished and be at greater risk of suffering from health disorders. These people will now meet their dietary recommendations, have a higher quality of life than before, and have a greater sense of community.